everyone, and welcome here. I'm Sally, and today we're going to Trader Joe's. I've recently discovered that they actually have a bounty of pro-metabolic goodies that can be really hard to find elsewhere. So I want to show you what I found for a pretty affordable price. Take you along with me and we'll unpack it. Don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to like this video. It really helps your girl out. Let's do this thing. We're home and it is time for the haul. I'm gonna start with the random fun stuff and then I'll move into kind of the pro-metabolic staples that I was talking about earlier. But first up, I got myself some pretty flowers. If you have not taken advantage of Trader Joe's flower collection, you need to. I think this was like a $4 to $5 bouquet, and they're just carnations. They haven't fully bloomed yet, but they have so many different colors, so many different varieties of flowers, and they're so much cheaper and like better quality, healthier looking than I found anywhere else. So we all need some more flowers to freshen up our homes, I think, brighten them up. There's just something so sweet about having this little piece of joy. So got those. They're gonna sit right here, right out of frame while I film this video. I lit myself a candle too, like, whew, we're getting real cozy in here. I hope you are as well. But other fun stuff, if you haven't tried these, you are missing out. All right, these are the rolled corn tortilla chips, chili lime flavored. They're not health food, let's just say it that way. Like, it's definitely fried, but it's awesome because they're like Takis. Not quite as spicy though, which is good for me because Takis spice me way the heck out. And they don't have any like artificial food dyes, artificial flavorings, or anything like that. So a nice little treat. And they're really crunchy, and I may or may not have had them as my little car snack, but they're still a little spicy. But like, ooh, sour and spicy at the same time. And like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, except for they're really good. Next up, these are just a really neutral kind of food. They're the original savory thin mini crackers. They happen to be gluten-free. I do not care about that, but they have sesame in them, and I think it's a rice base. They're super crunchy and really delicious to have with some cheese, with some meat. Just when you want something crunchy, munchy, but you're not wanting to have a chip or something that's fried or anything like that. So we love these, and we'll look forward to enjoying them with some charcuterie or something like that probably. Next up, and I cannot rave about this enough, is the dark chocolate sea salt caramel bar. It has salted caramel in each square, and you can get bars like this at different places, but I swear the Trader Joe's is the best that I have had. So I don't know, another treat. Really delicious. If you haven't tried it, you're missing out. Those are my like little treats, my chocolate and my crackers and my chips and my pretty flowers. And now we're getting into kind of the meat of it, so to say. This stuff is also fun in a weird way. So I found out last time I was there, not this time, that they have this whole diverse selection of salted fish, like pickled fish. So I have anchovies, smoked oysters, and I believe this is a really good brand. It's the Crown Prince Natural Seafood. Yeah, smoked oysters packed in olive oil. And I have some skinless, boneless sardines in olive oil as well. Now, if you haven't been in the pro-metabolic circles, you're probably like, why on earth would we eat these things? And I'm gonna be honest, I haven't had them either, except for like, is it anchovies that are in Caesar dressing, which is so good. However, the reason we would consume these things, and that I'm going to try them, I'm going to film a video where my husband and I are trying the pickled fish, which I am scared about, is oysters in particular are one of the best natural sources of iodine, which can be really difficult to get in our diet without being super intentional about it. So smoked oysters are a great way to do that. I'm thinking that I might be able to like chop them up and put them on toast with a white bean spread or something like that, and it would end up being tasty. I don't know. Sardines is incredibly high in calcium. It has more calcium than a cup of milk, and it also has, hold on, I have a note. Okay, sardines are an excellent source of vitamin B12, selenium, phosphorus, vitamin D, calcium, niacin, and iodine. So also getting iodine from those. The calcium is a big selling point, and vitamin B12 and selenium are a little harder to find if you're eating meat. Vitamin B12 you're usually fine, but selenium, great to be intentional about getting more of that in your diet. Next up, I've got some organic grass-fed whole milk. This is absolutely delicious. You can taste the difference in a very good way from non-grass-fed milk, at least of the selection that I've tasted. I think it's about $4.50. It's like right around that range, which is awesome because if you have compared any of the other grass milks out there, they tend to be pretty pricey. The one thing I will say is this does still have vitamin D3 added, which I know some people look to avoid in milk. It would be ideal if I could get 100% raw, unpasteurized milk, but in the States that can be really hard, and especially where I live, it's just not available. It might end up being available to me at some point soon though, because some extended family is acquiring some cows, so I will have to see what I can do about that. This is a wonderful option though, and overall I'm really impressed with Trader Joe's dairy section. I'll pop a clip up here, but they have goat's milk yogurt. I'll see them carrying just regular goat's milk sometimes, and not only do they have one type of goat's milk yogurt, I've seen a few different varieties, which is awesome for people who really are sensitive to dairy, like my husband. He can do goat's milk, but he can't do cow's milk. So great option and a great way to get some vitamin A into your system. Also from the dairy section, I've got some heavy whipping cream. I gave up on half and half, that's what I'll say, because I always added half and half to my coffee for the longest time. But then one day I didn't have any. I just had half and half and I put it in. Have been missing out. It's just so creamy, so much better. You don't need very much at all, but kind of my go-to right now is an Americano with collagen and half and half. And yes, I know it's ideal to add a carbohydrate to your coffee. I always have it with a carbohydrate, but I just don't like my coffee sweet unless I'm having like an iced flavored latte. Shout out to Social and that honey lavender latte. You stole my heart. So I'm rambling at this point, but cream in my coffee. I also use it for my gelatin gummies, at least one recipe. It's my cherries and cream, which you can see in a video I will link right here. On to the next. This particular item is not glamorous. It is just a bag of potatoes. I get them usually at Trader Joe's because while they're probably a better deal at Costco, I cannot go through a 10-pound bag of potatoes before they go bad. We just don't eat that many. So this 5-pound bag does me great. I got russets this time. I love their sweet potatoes, though. You can get the teeny tiny ones, which are easier to cut up and they don't cost as much money. Not that sweet potatoes are expensive to begin with, but because they're like the less desirable crop for some reason. So they get them at a lower price and then they're easier for me to chop up. So I love that. But these are the russets. We love their golden potatoes as well. Here I've got some raw shrimp. This is wild caught, and Trader Joe's has the cheapest wild caught shrimp that I've been able to find. It is very important that you choose wild caught shrimp when that's a possibility, because that's where you're gonna find the higher levels of iodine, which is a big reason to consume things like shrimp or whitefish, such as cod, as a regular part of your diet. So we've really enjoyed having this about once a week. What I'll do is either cook it on a skillet or I'll cook it in the oven, and we'll toss it with kind of a Cajun-y seasoning that we make. Usually some paprika, garlic, cumin, salt, just, you know, the normal things, I suppose. And I like to broil it on either side, literally just 2 minutes on broil, flip it over, 2 minutes on the other side, and it is good to go. We'll make burrito bowls with it. Fantastic. Next up, I've got my cherry juice, if I can show you the label. I think I've talked about this before. It's just 100% cherry juice. I use it for my gummies. I use it in my mineral-rich smoothies. It adds a wonderful tang, super high in vitamin C, and has a decent amount of potassium in it as well. One of our important macro minerals, another very important vitamin for us to consume. There's my cherry juice. I didn't get any this time because I have a huge box from Costco, but Trader Joe's also has a really wonderful selection of coconut water and coconut milk. I found the coconut milk to go in and out of stock a lot, but they've got different sources for the coconut water, different sizes, and I use that all the time in my adrenal cocktails. So if you haven't found a good place to get it for a good price, I encourage you to check next time you're at Trader Joe's. Next up, I have just got some honey. It's the Mostly Mesquite honey. We really like this one. There's nothing glamorous about it. It's not raw. I do really embrace raw honey when that's a possibility, but anytime I'm cooking with it, it kind of defeats the point to have it raw anyway. So I use this in things that I cook and when I just don't have access to raw honey or it's not in the budget for the month. So got that. Again, not glamorous, but I've got a couple of orange bell peppers. I'm gonna use these tonight with some of my russet potatoes, and I have some sausages in the refrigerator. This is a meal that we've absolutely been loving, just chopping everything up, throwing it on a sheet pan and making a delicious and easy dinner that way. And then lastly, I got my goat's milk Gouda cheese. I am sure I have also talked to you about this and you've seen it if you've watched some of my other videos, but I love to have it with eggs in the morning or just on a little plate with my gummies with an orange to serve as my pre-breakfast because I have to wake up really early for my job several days of the week and I need things that are easy to get into my system, but it's also delicious with those little rice crackers, these ones that I showed you earlier, and some charcuterie, meats, anything like that. Great choice, really love it. Their cheese section is impressive as well because they have numerous goat varieties and they have raw milk cheddar, which also Samuel, believe it or not, can consume and doesn't upset his stomach, which I have heard to be a commonality between people who are lactose intolerant, is that raw milk, even when it is cooked to make cheese, which is what confuses me, is often a lot more easily digested. That wraps things up. I hope you enjoyed. Nothing too crazy, but I always like, as I said, getting some inspiration from what's in other people's carts, and I hope you enjoyed this as well. Please, please, please don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. That really helps me out, and hit that subscribe button if